Excuse me,
Yes.
are you guys bowling fans?
Yes.
Yes, we sure are.
Yeah, I bowled as a kid. I bowled with my family. I bowled with friends. It's what you did Saturday. It's what you did Sunday. You bowled. It was cool.
Bowling. I mean, bowling's a blast. I mean, it's the ultimate family entertainment. Can talk about having bowled together, and that's about as apple pie as you can get.
Bowling is by far the most popular participatory sport in America. More Americans bowled last year than voted.
Everybody has fun bowling. Nobody never has not fun bowling. I mean, everybody who's gone to a bowling center has bowled has had fun doing it. Even if they throw a gutter ball, they laugh about it. They have a good time. Families spend time together when they're bowling.
Americans don't spend as much time as they used to together, either in bowling leagues or other common activities. And that's undermining our common citizenship. We have to do something about that.
It's almost like the word bowling is funny, or people just automatically have a negative connotation of that word. What are you doing? I'm going bowling.
I'm not bowling much myself, but I enjoy making fun of people who bowl.
Golf, baseball, and bowlers, they got a great talent. They're not athletes now.
What's so hard of knocking the pins down? I don't understand the concept.
Well, when I came in here, I saw a lot of bowlers eating the hamburgers and the fish sticks. I think they're eating it because it's healthy for them and it just keeps their mind on bowling, I guess.
It's kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
We were not getting out of this picture that was
big belly, beer drinking, smoking idiots.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, that's what the whole bowling world looked like.
Those perceptions will tend to linger on because the people who are making the judgments aren't involved.
A baby is not born saying the first words, bowling is That's not the first thing that comes out of a baby's mouth. Somehow that child is taught that.
Unfortunately, perceptions are very difficult to change over the years. I mean, it's had that image since 1950.
You know, in the 50s and the 60s, and, you know, is where you had people that really learned the technique of bowling.
Here, let me show you. Is that the ball you're using?
Yes, the one on the end.
Do you know how to hold it?
Oh, I think so. You just put your fingers in the holes and throw it.
Well, a little more to it than that. So you put your fingers in there like that.
You must think we're not very bright, but really, this is the first time we've ever been bowling.
I think the women's movement contributed to the death of bowling because guys can't get out anymore. You used to be able to come together with your buddies, have a bunch of Budweiser, smoke some cigarettes, and bowl, and be away from the family, and now you gotta stay home and take care of the kids. In the old days, I think you could just bail on that. And it's better for us, actually, humanity, that men are more involved with their kids, but bowling had to suffer, and that's a problem.
The reason that bowling gets no respect in this country is because bowlers get no respect in this country. And the reason bowlers don't get respect is because they're largely blue-collar guys.
What is that?
It's my Pro Bowler Automatic Thumb Warmer Limited Edition.
So it isn't bowling, when you get down to it, that gets no respect. It's the people who bowl who get no respect from the elites. And these are the same elites who run most of our culture. They're the ones who make movies in this country. They're the ones who make television. They're the ones who put out newspapers. This is a snobbery of the worst kind. If bowlers were a bunch of guys who went to Princeton and Yale and Harvard, bowling would be as shishi as could be.
I do think there's this sense that it belongs to a different time.
You know, bowling it's kind of like, you know, what happens at a drive-in movies. I mean, there's maybe one in the state now. And before, you know, back then, it was a thing to do, was to go to the drive-in.
Even families.
Yeah, even with families.
I would say that the master trend, so to speak, probably the most important social thing that happened in the course of the 20th century was the privatization of our leisure time as television. When television came into American society like a lightning bolt in the 1950s, it was a big dramatic change.
Live, here are your finalists: Pete Weber, Walter Ray Williams Jr., Wayne Webb.
I've enjoyed being behind the microphone at 3:30 on Saturday afternoons. I've been a part of the rich heritage of the Professional Bowlers Tour, a show whose family tree stretches back to the days when television was an infant.
That's it. Boy, and Dick Weber isn't out yet.
I think the first TV show I ever saw was still in black and white. Dick Weber's on like 6 out of the first 7 tournaments in professional bowling.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Schenkel.
ABC Sports brings you another great tournament in the Professional Bowling Association's Firestone Tournament of Champions.
Bowling was big. It was bigger than football. In the 60s and 70s, it was bigger than football.
There you see it. It tells the story. The crowd tells the story.
At that time, all of the other major sports were making about the same amount of money.
I put myself through college basically bowling.
Smile tells the story of congenial winner Walter Ray Williams.
12 years old, I knew I was going to go out on a PBA Tour when I turned 18. And here I am, hopefully to win the Firestone.
That was really the golden age of bowling. And bowlers were very popular, and Dick Weber got invited to the White House a couple of times to teach the president how to bowl.
I think bowling definitely was a lot bigger than it is now.
I think that the 60s and 70s, and really more the 70s and 80s, the choices were limited. And bowling was in a very good position in front of wide world of sports. A great lead-in Saturday afternoon. Chris Schenkel, great history.
It's been a great experience to be a part of it. And to our friends at the Professional Bowlers Association, thanks for the memories, and here's to many more.
Once upon a time in America, bowling was a perfectly fine recreation and sport. We watched it on television. But we live in a different America. We live in the United States of entertainment. And in the United States of entertainment, the one sin you cannot commit is to bore somebody. And bowling was boring America to death, and they didn't want to watch it on television.
I think that America, in terms of its vision of sport, has gone through an extraordinary change. It changed athletically, it changed emotionally, it changed socially, it changed spiritually, and it changed in every way possible. And bowling didn't change. And as a result, its marketing, its presentation never kept pace. And as all the other sports kept pace, they finally outstripped bowling, and bowling was left in the Father Knows Best days, and it wasn't part of the American sports scene.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the finals of the St. Clair Classic. Let's meet the finalists for today's telecast. Pete Weber.
The last show of the ABC telecasts in '97 when I actually started bowling good again and throwing the ball, making a lot of TV shows.
Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Obviously with cable and then more than 3 or 4 channels that people could watch, the ratings for everything started to fall.
It's going to be Weber and Williams, 1 and 2 in the world in our final match. How fitting, huh, partner?
How fitting. They started losing sponsors, and advertising dollars were going the wrong direction.
No money's going in or no monies are coming out. What they're doing with it, I have no idea.
But ABC had, they weren't making money with us. They had to do something.
Chris, it's fitting that a Weber will throw the final ball on ABC. His dad won the first telecast, which was actually taped in 1962 at Argo Lane. Right now, Peter needs 2 strikes to win. He must strike.
Wow. What a game for our final telecast, Bo. There he is, #1 in the world, and He's quite a bowler, and so is his competitor, Pete Weber.
I think that was probably the most devastating match I ever had against him.
It was the beginning of the end for the PBA. You know, we weren't convinced it was the beginning of the end, but pretty much everyone knew it.
A standing ovation for Chris Shaker.
It's not so hard to cry either.
Bob, thank you. Goodbye.
Giving your whole life to something, thinking that it'll never die, it'll never get bad, and then it does, and have nothing to back me up, no college, you know, no other career to step into. That part of it is the part that really hurts, because you do give your whole life to it. You don't expect it to die. You only expect it to get better. And when it only gets worse, you wonder why you were there and dedicated to the game for so long.
One time, it was the most watched sport on television, professional bowling. Today, it's not. But it is regaining a place in the world of televised sports, thanks in large measure to its new owners and these cool shirts. A group of former Microsoft programmers who decided it would be more fun to work on a 710 split than Windows XP.
Did you call up your other two friends and say, we could buy the Professional Bowling League for $5 million?
Yeah. I thought the PBA was in danger of dying, so I sent a letter to the commissioner saying, hey, I'm a retired Microsoft guy. He sent a letter back saying we're potentially for sale. So I talked to Rob Glazer. The whole league is potentially for sale on the order of $5 million. Whoever buys the whole thing. He said, yeah, we got to do that. That makes perfect sense. And then Mike Slade heard through the sort of Microsoft alum grapevine that we were buying the PBA, and he says, I want in, I want to do this thing too.
Chris Peters and his friends, former Microsoft guys, have hired two fellas from Nike to run the day-to-day operations of the PBA.
I think the key is to gain credibility. We desperately need credibility in the tour. We need to be able to be thought of as a sport, as a real sport. We need to be able to be competitive with other sports. We're going to be fighting for mind space in the TV. Reintroduction of our players will be a factor that we've got to spend a lot of time on, dimensionalizing the players, telling their stories, trying to get people to understand who they are. I think the key is to do these things in conjunction and to get them to a place where someone can embrace it all and then sell it to sponsors, sell it to America, sell it to the globe. And I think we've got a chance. I think the roots of bowling are really the roots of America. When one describes the average bowler, I think you do think immediately of middle-class America. I think you do think of a blue-collar activity. I do think that there is an attitude that bowling is at the low end. Will we ever overcome it? I don't know. As we go down the path of change, it will affect some people very positively, but some people very negatively.
Seeded number 1, world champion. Whatever, done just about everything, more perfect games than anybody. Well, the right way, people.
He's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame in bowling. He's in the Hall of Fame in horseshoes.
He's a fantastic bowler, horseshoe player, the whole bit. I've been following his career for like 5-6 years now. And what else can I say? I mean, I wish I were him.
When he was a teenager, they named the Deadeye Horseshoe after Walker Deadeye Williams Jr.
He gets better. He gets better as time goes on. He's sort of like a rare wine. He just gets better and better and better.
Oh, God, you idiots.
Yes, yeah, he's a little bit of a geek, but Walter is an incredibly intelligent person.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, don't do drugs, never have. If I wasn't bowling for a living, I probably would either be a teacher, math, physics, maybe working for JPL or NASA. I think my physics degree probably gives me a little different perspective.
My mother called me from the beauty parlor one Saturday afternoon, and she said, there's this horseshoe pitcher who's a pro bowler, and I want you to watch him on TV for me. And I said, okay. So I turned on bowling.
26 years of age, bowling out of Stockton, California. Trails by 14, but could cut the lead to 4 with a clutch double here on lane 33. He likes it. He's got it. Big shot for Walter Ray.
Oh, what a break! What a break!
That 4-pin right out. I think the players on the tour are beginning to realize in the future going to be a very tough customer on the PBA Tour.
So I didn't know much about bowling, and then we met a few months later.
We met later that summer, yeah. She actually designed the house, basically, and she's the one that picked out almost everything. It's a little bigger than I would have done, but it's all right. If you're the really lucky guest, you get to stay in what we call the poo room, which is all these knickknacks and stuff, which is and all the Winnie the Pooh stuff. A 38-year-old kid. I didn't just say how old she was, did I? I don't want her to kill me. She's always coming up with good reasons to kill me. You better bowl better.
Tremendous, complete professional bowler. 6 foot 2 inch, 180-pound Walter Ray Williams. 19th PBA title, 6 World Horseshoe titles.
So far, I've done very well over my career, and I have no complaints. Fortunately, the new PBA's got some good money behind it. I think that allows for a lot better marketing and promotions and stuff. I just hope I can benefit from it.
The one dream that I always had was just to make a TV show with my dad. And we've never done that. We've never made one TV show in my 25 years as a PBA member. We never made a TV show together. It's never going to change. Dick Weber's always going to be more famous than Pete Weber because, I mean, Dick Weber made professional bowling what it is today, and anybody says different, I'll argue with them about that.
It's good to see you.
Yes, it's nice to see you again, too. It's our family portrait, that the fourth one we had to do.
Yeah. When the kids get divorced or change spouses or add kids, they got to take another picture for me.
You'll see so much in this house, you won't believe it. There's any room for anything else. Dad, how's it going?
All right, Pete. How's it going with you, baby?
Very good.
All right, good to see you.
This is what I grew up with.
The smallest tournament to the biggest tournament always was just as much fun.
That's when bowling was bowling.
Dick Weber. They call him the Cracker, the Splinter, the Thin Man from St. Louis. Dick Weber, an All-American on any man's bowling team.
I think it was hard at first for Pete to be my son, but his drive is to beat my career. Much different than I am in style, much different than me in attitude, even though we have both have tempers. His antics on the lanes are a little bit more wild than mine were.
They expected me to be just like Dad, and I had a rude awakening for him. I wasn't like Dick Weber.
Pete was the most lovable kid that I had. He was so outgoing, and it wasn't mean. He just wanted to be doing something all the time.
Well, I think my record speaks for itself. Throughout my career, I've been known to raise a little hell, yeah. Later part of the 80s, early part of the 90s, I don't think the guys respected me because I was the rebel of the tour.
According to PBA officials, Pete Weber is appealing a 6-month suspension from professional bowling for conduct unbecoming a professional, a violation of PBA rules that he allegedly committed while on probation for previous rules violations.
Drank so much, I'd just slur everything, not be able to walk, and pass out on the floors. You know, you get into a little trouble with Uncle Sam, and, you know, you have warrants out for your arrest. He's not as nice as his father. He doesn't have the composure his father has. He'll never make it. And I was like, well, I have people right here, because I am making it.
He gave him a lot of headaches, but but all my kids did. And they're boys, you know, with the exception of the daughter. She had her few problems, too. But,
My husband.
I love you. care.
All right, pup.
All right.
Be good. Bye-bye. Love you. I got older, got smarter, you know, so it's cool to be home and be responsible instead of just drinking my life away.
You're burning them.
Are those burnt?
I'd hope that Pete could do it out there and that he was a strong enough person to put some of those demons behind him and go out and do well. Don't burn them.
Please.
Hey, let me get the phone. Bowling and more, this Wayne.
This is a new website for the PBA. Hey, this is pretty good. Have you seen this new website? Wayne Webb career highlights, personal facts, career earnings, $1,389,046. What did we do with all that money? I believe this is going to be Wayne's year. I think he'll go out and win a couple tournaments this fall. It's a good opportunity for Wayne to go out. It helps us in the pro shop because people come into the pro shop because Wayne's here. It's you know, he's one of the 12 winningest bowlers on the PBA history. He's won 20 tournaments, and hopefully he's got a couple left in him.
I think it depends on what amount of money is going to make you happy. You know, what you need to survive. And that's what puts the fire in me. I always bowl better when I'm broke.
You ought to be a
I
hell of a bowler this year.
I should bowl great living in Las Vegas.
You should be a hell of a bowler this year.
Everything's nice and dusty, isn't it? This was just first All-American team. This one here is my first title, the Brunswick World Open. That was in 1978. This one here, the cup that's all beat up from so many moves, that was the Tournament of Champions, 1980.
So at 22, Mr. Cool wins it. Wayne Webb is the winner of the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Wayne won 30 grand today.
Zena's the one girlfriend that'll never leave me. My last wife told me, says, I hate bowlers. I hate everything about them. I never liked bowlers. I'm like, great. So why'd you marry me? You know? And I got a ladies program, and I'm looking through it. I'm looking for my next wife. And I saw this one lady, Travis McNeese, and I said, that's her. I'm going to meet her and marry her. I met her 2 months later, married her a year later. And we were married for 5 years. But I made some mistakes that were unforgivable, so we didn't quite make it through but most everything were my mistakes. Back in the early 80s, I did a lot of partying. I started getting into karaoke. I was the entertainment in the lounge just about every night of the week. Money at this point didn't really mean anything to me. I mean, money's never really meant anything to me. I used to love throwing parties and having people come over and, you know, I still do that. If I've got a little extra money, anyone who wants it, you know, they can have it. I don't care. That was probably my biggest downfall. I wasn't cheap, and it didn't bother me to pay for everything. I didn't handle it very well financially because I enjoyed gambling, so I had to go bankrupt for a second time. I've been bowling all these regionals and you know, and I've won a few and, you know, almost to where I feel like a star again. It's my best way to make a living and get ahead. It's got to work out. It's one of my last chances.
Hey. Easy, hi. Hi.
I got no chance to go down there. Go say goodbye to Daddy.
Linda's job's a lot tougher than mine is. The boys are a great thing, but they're a lot of work, and she gets them 24/7.
Okay, see you in 3 weeks. Okay, see you in 3 weeks. See you in 3 weeks.
I'll do it as long as I can, as long as I can balance that out with my family and not feel like I'm taken away from my boys.
Careful. Keep it up.
Wichita is about 6 hours tops. Depends if we stop in here or not. But other than that, if I let Tracy drive, we'll make it about 4.5. Anytime you knock Walter Ray off a TV show or beat him on a TV show, it's extra special. It's got a little more meaning to it. 97, when it was our very last telecast. Of course, he was the #1 player in the world, and it seems like once we get on TV, I always solid 9 or throw a stupid shot right in a key situation of the match to give him the opportunity to get up and throw strikes to lock me out. So yeah, there's some things I'd like to do next year, and a couple of them are beat Walter Ray on TV.
We're going to have an opportunity to get together with the players and spend some time and talk to them about the realities of the season, what we expect, and of course the opening players meeting is always an interesting experience. It's always something that the players, I think, look forward to. I know it's something I look forward to.
Steve Miller's trying to get the players to support what the PBA office is trying to do. And I think in some cases he probably did that. In other cases he might have alienated some of the players. I don't know. You'd have to ask all the players.
As far as Steve Miller goes, I wouldn't want anybody else in the office running our show the way he knows how to do it.
They're the guys with the money, and they're strong-egoed and strong-willed. They're not going to listen to anyone. They're going to do it their way. Right or wrong, it's their show.
It's a good fear. You bought a ticket to a tennis match.
I'm going to keep it and remember all the things I got screwed out of before.
Okay, there's a bunch of seats up here in the front. So we should try to get together and start this. We said 6 o'clock and we should start. We're already a few minutes late. We're going to talk about the finances. It seems to me that there might be a concern that those rich guys are making money off of me. I'm going to show you where we are financially. Operating costs, almost $19 million. Why does it cost $19 million? There's all kinds of shit you pay for. If you have a friggin' business, when you open it up, you turn the damn lights on, it costs. Traveling cost. My f***ing salary cost. I'd like you to try to add some of this shit up, because you may find, I may be wrong about this, but you may find we're spending more than we're making, which means a loss of revenue. And we need to begin to recognize that our value is limited unless we do things to push our value up. The average number of viewing households in America this last year, the PBA was ahead of the National Hockey League, ahead of the LPGA, ahead of the X Games, and ahead of MLS soccer. Now, a dose of reality. For a commercial of 30 seconds, we get about $4,000. Our ratings are better than these people. Do you know what the National Hockey League gets for a 30-second spot? $15,000 minimum. Why? Because they have value. Why? Is it real value? It's perceived value. Bowling, our sport, has had no unified message. What is the message in bowling? Have fun? Have a beer? What was the message for bowling? How do you talk to consumers? You have to have a coordinated, well-placed, understood message. And two of our messages this year are going to be only one can win and the march to the World Championship. Why? Because we need to build equity in the World Championship. It has to be a focus. I want you to feel good about who you are. I want you to go to a motel and check in, or a hotel and check in, and when they say, what do you do for a living? I want you to tell them. As opposed to some people who I've checked in behind who didn't tell them. Because you don't feel good about yourselves. I want you to feel good about yourself. I may tell you a bunch of shit you don't want to hear, but I'm not going to lie to you. And don't think for a second I don't care about this, because I care a great deal. But I want you to care just as much. And if you don't like being told, if you don't like it, don't bowl, then I'm sorry. That's not fair. I have the right to play. You don't have a right to do anything. You are being given a privilege because of your skills. Let me just close with one last comment. Together, we got a chance. Separately, we have no chance whatsoever. So either we're in this together, or you can kiss my ass. Thanks. Have a good day, fellas. I feel like, in retrospect now, I was able to get to a place that I wanted to get, to a passion level, to a passion decibel I hadn't been before, to an explanation decibel I hadn't been before, to a clarity I hadn't been before. I was able to challenge, I was able to cajole, and I was able to hug and love.
He's a very, very good motivational speaker. And, you know, to hear him talk and speak about things, I mean, I think he could sell ice cubes to Eskimos. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Story next week, you'll receive patches for how many shirts you have, 8 or 10. That's all you receive for the whole year. I want you guys to sew those patches on your shirts. Last year we went through about 15,000 patches, it seemed like, on the tour.
That's only about $22,000, but
yeah. You know. So sew those patches on for us. If not, they're going to cost you $1 a patch. It's a budget cost, so please get those sewn on. The patches are up here, guys. Please get one before you leave. I'm going to read off land assignments. Okay, Ciccone, Wayne Webb, Mike Shoemaker, RD, here, 15 and 16, Ramos, Curtis Woods, Blaze, 1920, Tomac, Mike Miller, Vince Woods, Kevin Mitchell.
And no matter what angle I got, with what ball I got, they all hit the same.
See ya.
Later.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Wichita. So glad you could join us. The first of 20 telecasts here on ESPN. We start the march to the World Championship.
It's a tough road for these bowlers. The 130-man field bowls 9 games and then gets cut to 64. Then we bowl a second qualifying round for a place in the 32-man single elimination match play bracket. Win 4 matches and you're bowling on TV for the big bucks. Not an easy road for these bowlers at all.
You know, if you miss the top 64, you don't get paid for the week, you don't get a check. And by the time you add up all your expenses, you're about $1,200 in the hole.
We only have a limited number of opportunities to make this right. You know, we have 20 shows. We don't want you to be play actors. We don't want you to do something that you're uncomfortable with, but we want you to do whatever it is you are comfortable with. You need to be yourself, and you need to be as much of yourself as you possibly can. The reality is this is a great opportunity for you as individuals, for us as a sport, and certainly for our league, for the PBA. I always come into the bar to watch the show because sitting in the stands and watching it, I don't get a flavor for how the TV went. I think about a bunch of things, but mostly scoring, pace, and energy, and what I would be thinking as a consumer. If I was watching this, what would I be thinking? Would this be interesting? Would it be meaningful? And, those are important issues.
I'm Mike Roth. I produce the PBA shows for ESPN. One of the first things I started with was introductions. You know, they had never successfully done that in the past, and I thought, if you want it to be big, you want to get on the air with a bang. With lighting and, in some cases, smoke, we're making it feel big. The crowd's going crazy, the guys are high-fiving, fans are out there, everybody's pumped up.
7, 6,
5, 3,
4,
2,
3,
1. Keep going forward. Good, hold it.
Good, good.
It looks like Chris Barnes is now zeroed in.
Strike here, and he's down 19.
Yeah, very shaky the first 5 frames. This is going to be the shot that really tells you where he's at.
Oh, 13, 12, 11, 10.
I'm a little surprised at how well D'Entremont's doing. He's performing flawlessly.
Congratulations.
I want the show to keep moving. I want there to be continuity and visibility and high energy, which I'm always concerned about. We not only had glitches, we had other kinds of difficulties.
A while since Dave D'Entremont has had that large a check to hoist.
You know, I really thought that was going to be a special day, and it was in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, didn't finish out the way I wanted to.
We're going to leave because we already made plans to leave. You're going there tomorrow?
Yeah.
So we'll just catch up with you, and you can buy Monday night.
Yeah, I just... Now knowing how much tighter it really was.
They couldn't care less about us. You know, they're thinking of their future and don't care about the people that gave their life to it. And I think that's where a lot of guys my age feel a little resentment to the way that they treat us. You know, some things they do are good, and some things they do, they've got to learn. They admit they're going to make mistakes, but it'll get better. They're smart people, and they know what to do.
So the schedule, we need to talk about it in a real viable way. And the preparation level for the World Championship in terms of going in and sending Andrew in and trying to get sponsorships. going in and trying to sell tickets, going in and trying to get things done. Why didn't we do that for every event? You know how we're handling the World Championship right now? You know, we've got people going into the city, we've got things going on. We're doing a good job. Would I say we're doing a great job? No, I wouldn't, because nobody knows this exists. But I will tell you one thing that this does not take into consideration to a great extent, and that is, what does the audience want? Because, frankly, I don't give a shit what the players want. And secondly, what do the sponsors want? And the two things that drive our business are the audience and sponsors, not the players. The players will figure it out.
In my own personal interactions with Steve Miller, it's been unfortunately that we've had more heads butting than we've had, you know, good handshakes. Some of the fans that make the most noise are the ones that they seem to be trying to appease. That they're trying to go after the 18 to 35-year-old males who tend to be a lot more, I don't know, aggressive or whatever, and they tend to like the players who are, you know, more brash, like a Pete Weber. I think those guys are exciting to watch, but you know, I also like to see good performances too. So I think there's definitely a place for somebody like myself.
Well, I mean, you know, being a marketer of a product, we're supportive anytime a trademark is treated in a respectful manner. Although that was a comedy, and the whole overtone of that movie was a comedy. Even from that movie, even back then, it was a natural fit, we believe. So we were contacted by representatives of the PBA, about 10 months ago, to talk to us about an opportunity about sponsoring the sport. Basically, anyone who has stinky feet or suffers from foot odor and wetness, mothers, you have fathers, you have kids. And I think if you look at your average bowling center on any given day, you're going to see it filled with people that make up that demographic. To us, it's a perfect fit. We feel like we had a very strong team this year. And quite frankly, we wanted a team that would get exposure on the show on Sundays. And we feel like we've definitely achieved that goal with Walter Ray.
Last year, I had an outstanding year. And this year's been a little slower for me. I feel like I'm throwing the ball good, but score-wise hasn't been as good as last year.
I firmly believe your home life, I mean, if you have a family, a wife, that relationship's got to be strong. I mean, I've seen them bust up. I've seen some succeed. There's not many married couples that spend as much time together as we do, so the only time alone, apart that we have from each other is when he's actually bowling. For spending as much time together as we do, we get along pretty well.
Come on, Pete, throw a strike. You're killing us, man. Come on. Come on. Come on.
$222, Weber 149.
'95 would have been the one year that I really would have considered quitting. I mean, I bowled so bad that whole year, and my personal life wasn't in order. And
He come home with his tail between his legs. He says, what do I got to do? I think I want to go back to college and learn a trade. He goes, what do you think? I said, I think you need to pull your head out of your ass and get out there and throw the ball like you know how.
She convinced me not to quit yet, to try it another year. And first tournament of the year, I go out and make the show. So I was like, all right, this is a little better. She totally understands bowling. She knows what it's like to be on the road. She did it herself for a little while. So she knows what it's like to be on the road and have to bowl and find a hotel and do everything. And she knows that her time out here with me is basically to keep me going. I mean, to make sure my clothes are ready. I mean, not to make her sound like a slave, but she helps drive and she takes care of all the hotel reservations and things like that. So, I mean, basically to me, my job is to bowl and bowl only.
To throw the ball.
And then when we get home, I try and make things up to her when we get home, but it doesn't really work out all that much.
I feel like in the past I've sacrificed the one thing that was most important to me, and that's the family life. The divorce rate is huge on tour. Because of the ups and downs are so tough. Emotionally, we go through hell out here. There have been a number of families that will buy a motorhome. These guys will do that just so they can have some type of a home life.
We got a fairly good-sized refrigerator. It's got some food in it. Not lots, but it's got some. The one sink over here, main sink, and over here is another toilet, or actually the toilet with another sink over here. My wife is generous to let me have this one. Did you want something, honey?
Yeah, if you're making one, I'll have one.
You'll have one?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess PDW likes the peanut butter jelly, which I actually like also, but I prefer the meat sandwiches. And I'd like to think that bowling's entertaining. Unfortunately, some people don't think bowling's entertaining, and I think part of that goes to, people who are running the PBA.
From my perspective, you know what? We are what we are. There has to be, at some point, an ultimate decision maker. I believe in that. I believe that you have to have some place where the buck stops. Have an individual or a group of individuals that have a vision for what you want to be moving forward. See what is and ask what could be. I don't think my bull in the china shop personality and mentality would have been good for the PGA, but I think I'm reasonably good for this. In 5 years, I don't think they'll need me. Maybe 3 years they won't. Maybe they won't even need me next year, but they certainly needed me to start the thing off, and or a person like me. I think there are nothing but great people, not great environments. I think there's nothing but great people, not great jobs. I think there's nothing but great people that overcome enormous odds. I just think it's the way it is, and I think that I think the human spirit is boundless. So if Pete wouldn't have come along, somebody else would have. But the reality is he did. And how good is that?
PDW is a champion again. And for the first time in his great career has defended a PBA Tour championship.
I'm the defending champion again. Damn it, does it feel great.
Can you believe that buzz you're hearing is actually about bowling?
So refreshing to see a bowler talk trash.
Their next guest would actually love it if bowling was a contact sport.
A man who's turned the PBA into something really memorable, Mr. Pete Weber. You've added a whole new dimension to the bowling game. Your flamboyance, your wrestling-style moves, but talk about how the new owners of the PBA Tour actually are encouraging you.
We are entertainers out there when we're bowling.
They're trying to get younger people in it. They're trying to make it more exciting. You're the bad boy of bowling. What is the bad boy of bowling? What does that mean?
That means I don't play by the rules that they lay down. Because I feel I'm number one.
Call me PDW. That's why I am in the house.
Pete Weber is back, looking to surpass his dad on the all-time titles list.
I just wanted to say that for everybody in the world that has only got to read about me and see me on TV and has never met me, I'm not an
That's a good piece. Wow. Very impressive. It's actually happening.
When I'm on TV, I know I'm on TV, and I try to, you know, convey what I consider a positive image. You know, you get Pete Weber, just the opposite. Going out being really crude because I'm real happy. That doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever.
I mean, Barnes, I mean, he is, I don't know if he loses his concentration or if he is confused, if he loses his confidence. It's either dead on or dead out. He always seems like he's on an emotional roller coaster. There's very little happy medium for him.
I guess the hardest part is just, I mean, you feel like I disappointed a lot of people today. Not like my wife. I called her right afterwards. That's the hardest call to make. Because, you know, I mean, it's because I know she's pulling for me. And, just, you know, you have to make as much as you can when you can make it. You know, today's one of those days that kind of hurts because I feel bad because I know how happy she would be if I won. I think I'd be used to it after a while.
Welcome to Sin City for the PBA Storm Las Vegas Classic.
Well, you can definitely outthink yourself, and that's probably one of my biggest problems. Trying to do a bunch of different things instead of just getting out there and bowl. I know how to bowl. You know, I know how to get there, so I'm just gonna do it and knock down a lot of pins.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our official number after 18 games of qualifying. The cut score is plus 470. Plus 470 above. Return tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll have standings out in about 10 minutes. Reminder, those bowlers in first.
You don't have any clue what time 31st bowls, do you?
They all bowl at the same time. You bowl who was in second.
Well, you know, it's been a while since I've been around. You know, it was this time last year when I made the finals.
You can see whoever's second place is who you bowl.
Yeah. Amaletto. I mean, not that it mattered, he shot 300.
Yeah.
Worst part is I didn't really bowl bad. I mean, my attitude right now, I almost want to go home, but I really can't afford to. I need to stay out here and do the right thing. It's not quite as much fun right now. especially being in Vegas, where I still have a little bit of a gambling problem, where I want to play, and that's not good. So I need to stay in my room. That way I don't lose any money. But it's not fun. But that's okay, because I'm bringing my karaoke back out. I've changed my mind, and I figure, you know what? The only way it's going to be fun is for me to make it fun again. So I'm bringing my business back out so I can do karaoke out here and play music.
Two boys have affected my career mostly for the better, I think. They have taken the edges off of me. And if something happens and I can't bowl tomorrow, you know, I can walk away and say, you know, I was good enough to play out here and play with the best of the best. It'd be nice for my boys to know that this is what I did. I'd rather be a great father than a great bowler with two kids.
You're from Kansas originally, but now from Texas. How special a win here in front of the home folks?
It's great to win in front of your friends and family.
All right, he's ready to go, Randy. Championship match.
Chris Barnes, 9 second-place finishes in his career, but he's going to have to beat Parker Bone.
Business first, though, here in Dallas, determining a champion. 46 gets them all down. Barnes looking for a great position for his first tour win of this season. Appears more focused than ever.
Whoops.
Whoa.
It is a shot clock violation.
It's happened a lot to Chris Barnes this year, who says he's not overwhelmed by frustration. Shreds the rack. Perfect ball for Barnes. So the extra thought paid off. Leaves a 6. The title today in Texas. Our first time since 2001. Chris Barnes, a PBA champion again.
Oh, how cool is this? Breakthrough.
I'm glad to be here when he wins.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad the boys got to be here. It's fun. Nice to be able to celebrate.
Wait to get this. Hey! We can afford your diapers now.
Hey, new furniture for the weight room, guys.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Well, I'd like to win twice more in this season. Obviously, the World Championships would be the biggest goal, aside from $100,000 or $120,000, which I think, I don't know anybody that can't use that. That'd be a nice way to finish off the season.
This is like really early.
I think more people are starting to watch now more than ever, I hope. Pete's had a little bit to do with that.
Yeah.
Maybe he got a little, pressure from the media and all the hype and stuff like that, but, I mean, he enjoys doing that. He says it didn't bother him, but I think it did mentally. But he's back.
Pull well, all right?
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
You look great.
Here.
Watch your...
Actually, I stand next to the tree when we're in Rapids.
That's right, PDW's back in the house.
Are we going to see a crotch shot today?
I ain't even waiting when they put the spotlight on me, when they do the intros. Bam!
From St. Anne, Missouri, a two-time U.S. Open champion, one of just 4 players to win bowling's Triple Crown, PBW Pete Webber. From Victorville, California, making his 5th career TV appearance, looking for his first ever PBA title, Michael Haugen Jr. This Hall of Famer's resume includes 35 wins, 3 majors, nearly $3 million in earnings. From Ocala, Florida, Walter Ray Williams Jr. And on the line today, one bowler takes home $100,000 in the third of our 4 majors. With the sunglasses, Pete Webber is ready. The U.S. Open is underway with Pete Webber. Here gets it. Kicks out the 10, a big one.
Ball got back to the pocket, but what a horrible break.
And misses the 9. An open frame. Michael Haugen advances past the legendary Pete Webber. Now he faces Hall of Famer Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the finals. Walter Ray has been dominant all year long on the tour. Walter Ray gains his 2nd win and continues a season of dominance.
With this win, Walter Ray Williams Jr. locks up the #1 seed for the season-ending PBA World Championship.
Things work a little differently at the World Championship. The top 8 players this year, including Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Pete Webber, are seeded directly into the round of 16 at the Taylor Sportsplex.
Everyone else, yours truly included, have to fight it out at Taylor Lanes for the remaining 8 spots.
Randy, we can't wait. We're all looking forward to it. It should be exciting.
I hope I came across pretty good today.
Oh, my God. Good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I feel pretty good.
Thinking about Player of the Year yet?
Oh, definitely now. It's I definitely want to be Player of the Year, and I think I've got a good shot at it. However, we still got the World Championship with 120,000 first place, so my main motivation is to bowl well and win. The winning, I mean, the money's nice, but you're out here to win. That's to perform well week in and week out. I think that's what everybody's goal is.
If it wasn't for the new PBA, we'd be bankrupt. If it can be done, they're the ones that are going to save the tour. and make it financially good for the future bowlers. I don't think I'll see any of it. I would very much consider doing something different with my life. But at this point, I wouldn't have a clue what that would be. I'm done with it. I'm gonna get out there and kick their ass.
Anytime they get the bowl for 120,000 first place and the title of world champion, then that's a pretty big deal.
Next week in Detroit is really the pivotal moment in our, not only in our season, but really in our career. It's the pivotal moment for the PBA.
I feel pretty good. We'll just have to see what happens. I mean, you know, every day's a new day, and the lanes play a little different every day, but I feel confident to go out there and knock them down.
Wayne Webb was definitely a great player. When he first came out in the 70s and 80s, he was great. In the 80s, he was probably the #1 guy. He just went through a thing in his life where he just, who knows what he was thinking. Yeah, I think Wayne could have been better. I think he could have been great, but he fizzled off a little bit. He's 40, he's still 40 like Walter, but he's not the same. He's up and down. He'll bowl good and then he'll bowl bad.
Kind of hard to average 200 when you're only allowed 1 strike a game.
Yeah.
I've successfully convinced myself to quit bowling. I'm not very good anymore.
I'm right there with you.
I suck. Let's see. I am down there a little bit further. Keep going. Keep scrolling. Should be in last by now. Mother. My bowling career is over. The biggest part that's scary about giving up bowling on tour, it's really all I know. I mean, it's all I've ever done since I was 18 years old. And at 45 years old, what do you do? Well, I've been doing my karaoke business for about 8 years now. This is the only thing that I find that's enjoyable on tour. They had some management changes here at Taylor Lanes. They're looking for my karaoke business, which was real big, and I haven't done it for a couple of years, but they remember when I did do it out here, it was such a great time, and people ask for it all the time. By request for that front table of ladies up there. I'm broke, and I have no family, and I have no life. And I need every piece of that to make me happy. I've been on the road too many years. 27 years is enough.
They ain't gonna go the whole, so a bit more in the middle.
Yeah.
Middle. Here you go with me.
No, we will not button the top button. That looks gay. I'm not Phil Mickelson.
So the other match.
Oh, pretty good today. Threw the ball good. 120,000 on top. Got to be pumped up for that. And then when you're bowling somebody and they get a lucky break and give you a little jab, it's your job to jab them back. After the fact, you feel for the guy, but during the match, you really don't. It's tough, you know.
I think Pete, when he's on, Pete is hard to handle, and he's great from the front. And we'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting.
It'd be great to see Pete and Walter Ray end up playing each other. And, you know, when Pete finished his match out there, he looked at Walter Ray and he said, I want to play the best in the world. I want you. And Walter Ray looked at him and said, bring it on. So that's good stuff.
Whatever the outcome, I just want it to be a great show, and I want it to be a great, again, affirmation for the professional athlete and the professional bowler. And I think we're getting there. We've come a long way, baby.
Well, it's anytime you win a major, whether it be the first one of the year, first turn of the year, or the last one of the year, a major title is a major title, and that would just add to my major title collection.
So it makes it a bigger win to beat Walter.
I'm gonna take Walter down.
bowl a lot, and my favorite bowler is Pete Weber.
Yeah, PDW.
We love you.
Only one can win, baby. Only one can win.
We're waiting for the go-ahead signal to start letting people in. A lot of them have been here since 6:30 this morning.
Put that sign on there and you can open it up. Let's go, folks.
I had the restless night for us, so I got no sleep, and he slept okay.
This is fantastic. It doesn't get any better than this.
What are these? Oh, no. These are beautifying sticks. You want one? For a while there, I think he had a little bit of a thing about bowling against me. He got a little bit more nervous than he normally did, but I think he might have got over that. We'll find out today.
But I'm not worried about that today. It doesn't matter. It's just a one-game match, and hopefully it's exciting.
To the 2003 PBA World Championship is complete. For the first time in PBA history, we wrap up the season with this prestigious event. The fourth and final major of the year with a record-tying $120,000 in prize money is on the line. We come to you from Taylor Sportsplex in Taylor, Michigan, just minutes from downtown Detroit. Now let's meet our finalists. From Ocala, Florida, his 36 career titles include 4 majors, a 5-time PBA Player of the Year, and the Hall of Famer, Walter Ray Williams, Jr. His 29 career wins include 6 majors and bowling's elusive Triple Crown. A PBA Hall of Famer from St. Ann, Missouri, Pete Weber!
Randy, we are lucky today, no question about it, here in suburban Detroit. So much prestige, so much prize money, a record-tying $120,000 on the line to the winner. Big crowd here today.
World Championship, what a start for PBWs in a pocket.
Two of the towering figures in modern bowling square off on television for the first time since 1997.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. had a 300 game last night.
Walter Wednesday starts in the pocket. 10 in the pit for Walter Ray Williams Jr. Walter Ray.
Oh, that's not good.
Cover the 2 pins there for a mark. They call him Deadeye for a reason. Take him down. And he's got to flip him.
Weber with a big strike.
Walter Ray answers. Perfect ball in the pocket for a strike.
Damn it, come on.
I mean, you get the feeling this is a world championship. You can see it. You can feel it. The crowd shots are spectacular. The action. I mean, this is some now. This is the I like the drama. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Weber strikes in the 6th, and this match is dead even.
The pressure is really on now. This is a huge shot for Pete Weber. 7 frames. Strike carries up 10 pins. We're seeing it all flow out today here in Taylor.
Thought for just a second he lost it.
Walter can take a 10-pin lead with a strike in the 7th.
Here he is. As the 10 pin is tripped late, still has a 7 to deal with. A shrug of bewilderment from Pete Weber, now down 21 pins.
Spares? Well, he just showed you.
If Walter Ray strikes here, PDW is in big trouble.
4 pins still standing.
I'm excited. This is the most fun I've had watching the show.
10 pin, does he get help? By a whisker. The messenger rolls past the 10 on the deck.
So now, if he spares and strikes, Pete strikes out, he wins?
1 pin.
Oh, this is some
Just when it looked like Walter Ray was going to bury Pete, Pete has new life.
Keep in mind, Pete has been in the pocket the entire match, just hasn't gotten the breaks. Maybe now he takes advantage.
Walter Ray, in a strike on this next ball, will force Pete Weber to throw 3 strikes in the 10th frame to win by 1 pin.
Come on.
The 10th frame, 3 strikes, he's a winner. 2 strikes and 9, we have a tie.
Jeez.
Needs this to at least get a tie, and then 9 pins.
Thanks. I had a good year, though. I'm not gonna be disappointed.
Good job, man. Just started.
Well, did its own show.
Beautiful temp then, huh?
Oh, yeah. Right spots, too.
Especially in the summer.
Unbelievable. You can feel the intensity on TV. Spectacular. Good.
10 pin.
Yeah.
10 pin.
I can't believe I left that many of them. I mean, it just nobody left that many in practice. Well, strike it well in practice.
Right.
year's check is Steve Miller, the president and CEO of the PBA.
I guess I should have listened to you earlier.
Walter, I probably should have written this out to Paige. Paige, are you here?
Oh, yeah.
But Walter, $120,000. Your earnings over $415,000 for the year. Couldn't go to a better bowler, a greater representative, #1 bowler in the world. Congratulations.
Thanks, Steve. Well, I'm not quite speechless, but almost. I'd like to thank all the sponsors that have come on board this year, especially Odor Eaters and helping my team along. And I'd like to thank Chris Peters for getting the PBA back on its feet. Without you guys, we wouldn't be bowling for this much money. I'm just absolutely elated for what has been going on. It's been an unbelievable year. Hopefully I can continue to bowl well and continue to get more of these bigger checks. I'm sure they're going to be bigger in the future. And Steve, thanks a lot for everything you've done for the PBA.
Thank you.
Hey, want some ice?
Hey, Walter, right?
Pardon?
You must have one of the compartment doors open.
Oh, yeah, the water one. I just won the PBA World Championship this afternoon for $120,000, and now I'm up here in my motorhome getting the ice out so I can get down to Florida.
A lot of the stuff I do on TV, I have got from wrestling, and you know, I got to come up with a new one. The crotch chop's getting a little old, and people aren't liking it, so I got to come up with a new one.
I've got my own viewpoints about, you know, how things are going with the PBA and the office and things like that. I think for the most part, they're definitely going in the right direction. I like to let my bowling ball do my talking, and this year I was able to do a pretty good job with that.
I think it's exciting. I think for the first time I've actually thought maybe my kids could be bowlers. Because there might be a PBA around and they might actually be able to make a living doing it.
Yay! He just needed his boys here. See that? We show up and Daddy throws a 3-bagger.
What makes it difficult in bowling is that we literally know that this change is going to create a crack that some people are going to fall through. It's part of the way the world works, and it's one of the sad things, but one of the great things is to be able to hold on to what you had, look at it as a celebration as opposed to a funeral.
I made a decision to basically give my entire life to bowling. And now I'm, you know, now I'm kind of paying the penalty for it. You know, the little places are gone. And I think that that's just because of the way, that's just society. When you walk into the bowling center and the person working the desk goes, "Hey, Wayne, what's going on?" That's what it's all about, is people knowing everyone. They were all mom and pop centers. If I could ever get into a bowling center that had that type of feeling again, that'd be the greatest thing in the world.
I defy anybody in this room to tell me, even for a moment, that we haven't made monumental progress. And I'll tell you, I'm the most optimistic guy in the world, and it's gone beyond where I thought it was going to be this quickly. But this is the 100-Year War. This is not an overnight deal. This thing was f***ed up. And I don't mean a little f***ed up. This thing was f***ed up. Financially, spiritually, emotionally, business-wise, it was bad. And we're just starting to get okay.
You watch me on your TV. Say that my job is easy. Say I am not athletic. You think my sport's pathetic. But you can't judge me till you